Well, hello, good morning. My name is Marla Sager. I'm from the Tahlequah Farmers Market. What I'm going to be talking with you today about is community involvement. Tahlequah Farmers Market, we are in our 15th year, and I have been president for now 13 years, or this is my 13th year. One thing that I have found to be one of the most important things about continuing our market and growing our market is community support. That means getting involved with your community. I go to many meetings. In fact, I go to a lot of the health organization meetings throughout our community. And my husband says that I have gone from being an accountant to working in public health now because of all these meetings. I love it though. They have become invaluable to us. They support us. What is that? Excuse me, my screen changed. They support us. They do things in conjunction with us. We work as a team. We work as a family. And so I'm going to go through a couple of these partners, I call them partners, and let you know kind of how we have evolved and some of the outcomes. I'm going to start with TSET, the Healthy Living Coalition, because they kind of got me started in all these making partnerships and being partners. They were our first partner. I go to a meeting once a month with them. Now it's virtual, but yes, once a month meeting with them. And we bank off of each other. It's an eclectic group of community members. And so we have people from the hospital, we have people from the Cherokee Nation, we have myself from the farmers market, we have TSET, and we all just kind of bank off of each other. And I guess we used to call that networking. Second very most important entity that we deal with is what's called T-Best, which is Tahlequah's bringing everyone's strengths together. It's through our Tahlequah public schools, and with them, we provide the farm to school to our third graders in this community. I really value them. They support us in a lot of ways. We bank off of each other, once again. We have a community-wide coalition called the Cherokee County Community Health Coalition. And that's kind of an overall steering committee of the health organizations within our community. I go to a monthly meeting with them. Then we've got our Cherokee County Health Services Council. That is an entity that has a lot of wonderful health providers, healthcare workers that participate with them. We've got an MOU with them regarding pharmacy baskets. So this is going to be an interesting thing to create, these pharmacy baskets. It's new to us, so we're excited. One of the groups that works out of that services council is AmeriCorps and the VISTA program. The VISTA program has been wonderful for our market. We've had it we're into our third year with them, and it has been very profitable to the growth of our market. They helped us create our online market last year. It was invaluable. ONI, here we are. ONI, look what you do. You know, how many years have you done this? And we've been participants with you. This group is awesome. They supply us with all kinds of things that we use in our market. They supply us with calendars. They supply us with recipe cards. Those recipe cards are invaluable, and all kinds of other promotional materials. Thank you very much, Oni. Hunger Free Oklahoma. Yes, Double Up Food Bucks. We're part of that group. We consider them our partners. Oklahoma Department of Ag. My gosh, you guys are great. Anytime we have any kind of legal issues or legal questions, I should say, we just call them up and they have the answers for us. Or if they don't, they find it. We had an interesting one this year. We have a guy that was interested. He grows catfish, and he was wondering if he could sell his catfish through the market. So they had to kind of look into that one for us. City of Tahlequah. Oh my gosh. We provide our market under the pavilion that the city owns, and it's been very nice. This year they're going to put up lights for us, so we like that. We're also working on a grant through the National Endowment of the Arts. There I am again. From the National Endowment of the Arts, and we would be partnering with the City of Tahlequah for that, as well as a local group called Tahlequah Creates, and they are an art group, artists, and so we would all be working together. Be kind of interesting. We'll see how this goes. We're supposed to find out about this grant in April, so yay! I'm hoping. The Oklahoma Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee. We just kind of ran into each other through the Health Services Council, and now they are funding and supporting our youth booth initiative. We're really excited about this because we see gentrification in we're getting older, folks. We're getting older, and we need to get young folks into this. So we've got a youth booth initiative. The American Farmers and Ranchers, they're funding our online market this year. I have insurance, my company has insurance through them, and we were talking, and one thing leads to another, got another partner. OSU Extension. Oh my gosh, Heather is great. I let her know that we were going to be doing our online market, and within a couple of days, she had masks for all of my vendors. Several little old ladies that had sewing machines, and they just got after it. Partnerships. NSU. Here we are hosting our satellite from NSU. We do several different things with NSU. This is probably this has strengthened our partnership because we didn't know where we were going to do the satellite until Thursday. So here we are. Thank you, NSU. And now Langston University. Oh my gosh, we're going to be having great partners with them. They like doing these satellites, and so I think this is going to continue from now on, and yay. So that's pretty much the main partners that we work with on an almost daily basis, it seems sometimes. Does anybody else have partners? What other kind of partners does everybody else have?
Oh, somebody's coming up right now. I think they have a question. They're going to turn the mic on for you. Oh.
Alrighty, can you hear me?
Yes.
We took over the OSU OKC Farmers Market at Scissortail Park, and we have a pretty interesting partnership with our Central Oklahoma Beekeepers Association. And there's lots of honey producers kind of around our area, but it's been difficult because we want to have our market space kind of only available for one of those producers at a time so that they can secure some sales. So we've kind of generated a partnership with COBA. They're helping us do some lectures and some educational activities on market days, and then they also assist us in rotating through single honey producers throughout the season. So we have some different rotations for folks so that they can be the only honey producer per market day. And that's really nice. And I think different counties have different groups of the beekeepers associations, and they kind of act as partners in that way. And that's been a really good partnership for us. Another one that we just established is OK Compost. I think they just got their 501c3 status, but they work with sustainability initiatives, in particular composting, and that's for farmers and producers, but for backyard composters and gardeners as well. And they've signed on to do some educational kind of opportunities and workshops at our farmers market this season, kind of lecture styles. That's been really fun for us, but was really excited to hear about some of your partnerships. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marla. I appreciate you. And thanks for hosting that satellite location. I hope great things are coming from that with Langston. So my name is Lainey Porter, and I founded Healthy Oklahomans Nutrition Alliance. So Healthy Oklahomans Nutrition Alliance, also known as HONA, works throughout the state in order to build bridges to healthy local food access. So I go into other counties. Oh, thanks, Jade. So I work in various counties in the northeastern sector of the state. I work in Wagner County, Cherokee County, Muskogee County, Tulsa County, Osage County. I have some partners in Oklahoma City County, Choctaw, a little bit of everywhere, just because the goal of HONA is to break down the silos that are created through all of these partnerships that Marla was talking about. Right, you go into every community, and lots of communities are doing great things. They have great pieces of the puzzle. Perhaps they just don't have a great partnership with their city. Or maybe they don't have a university in their town. Or perhaps their coalition is kind of fading. Sometimes it just needs life breathed back into it. So HONA goes in. I sit at all of these meetings that Marla mentioned, right? You really have to have one person at the table who's able to carry that information from one table to the next. We don't want to keep recreating the wheel and or spinning our wheels in each county. Now, we have all of these great partners that do great things. However, sometimes their messages just get lost in these silos. So what I do is I work to find the community champions. In some communities, that is OSU Extension. In other communities, that may be a local coalition. Once you find out who these champions are and where the people are active, it's easier to find out how to help them. Most of them, thankfully, nowadays have strategic plans of action. So then you go in and find out how their local food system is incorporated in this strategic plan. Even when you're talking about prevention and treatment, especially when dealing with the opioid crisis, we know that food is a basic building block of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So whenever you're talking to people, you have to find out how food is directly impacting their lives and how we can help them turn that need into a skill, right? So by creating more micro entrepreneurs and or building upon entrepreneurships that are already there, then you're able to better fill those roles. And once one community has a great strategic plan and outcomes, then you're able to say, hey, I have this community right next door, and they have some great things going for them. And then once you start sharing that information, it comes more of a collaboration. And so then instead of it just being a community action plan, then it becomes a regional action plan. And with those regional action plans, you're able to better fill the roles in communities that may not have enough numbers when it comes to funding and or community champions. Every community doesn't have private donors that are willing to step up to the table of food security, right? Maybe they're stepping up to the table in other roles. And so how do you get them to care about your mission? And one way you can get people to really care about the mission is by creating income, right? So we know that most people don't realize that $1,000 is what qualifies your property to be a farm. However, we do know that in a season of a regular farmer's market, you're able to obtain that $1,000 in most cases with a backyard and or patio garden. How do we get that information to more people? Well, we create a landing space where people are able to find out all of the information going on in their community and beyond. The only way we create a stronger food system web is by connecting. We have to connect beyond our community. All of the organizations that Marla talked about are in every community. However, we know lots of times these organizations are short-staffed and or overworked. So how can we help them? Well, we have to go with direct ask and or direct solutions. So by sitting at a table with Jenna or with Marla or with others that are here that are winning and taking those strengths and showing them to a community that may have that as a weakness, it helps us want to help each other. And so that's where HONA has really focused our efforts, is finding out who needs the help and how to get that help there. And everybody's need is different, but similar. And so it's nice to be able to have these moments such as this conference and the Hoover app to continue to connect with each other, so then that way we don't lose that from each other, right? Because everybody has lots of great ideas, but if we're head down in the dirt working hard, we don't always have time to share that. And so how can we share that? Well, we're going to create, HONA is creating advocates to come to your market, to talk to your managers, to talk to your farmers, to talk to your youth, to go to your coalition meetings, to find out what roles need strengthening and what roles you're succeeding at. Because once we find your successes and share those, then more successes come. So, does anybody have any questions? Do you have some strengths that you're willing to share? Do you typically share with local markets nearby and or coalitions? Do you guys get out of your box and find others who think like you and want to facilitate ideas like you? Do y'all have brainstorming sessions together, right? It's all about making sure that that's said out loud. Like sometimes we take for granted that so-and-so knows this already. Well, they may have known, but maybe they forgot, right? They're so used to accomplishing A, B, and C that they forgot about D, E, and F. So sometimes we just are there to remind them. And sometimes communities are their own worst critic. And when you go into that community and remind them of their wins and remind them of all the great things that are happening, then it's kind of like weight loss. You don't see your results every day looking in the mirror, but a year from now, you're a whole new person. So that's the goal, is just to make markets realize that they are constantly changing. One thing that we have a lot of is farmers aging out. So these farmers need to connect with the youth in order to build new generations of farmers. So how do we do that? Well, we have to encourage them. And if we're not talking about our wins, they don't want to come join our market. Anybody have anything? Yeah. So she asked who funds HONA. So currently, I fund myself. I just work with, so I grow stuff, and through the market season, I sell it, and then I have partnerships in Muskogee where I help source food for a produce box that they're doing for prescriptions. So just a lot of hustling, working to find those community partnerships in order to get letters of recommendation for grants is the key, right? So in order to apply for those grants, then you have to put in the work. So sometimes you got to do the work for free to get the funds later, at a later date. Oh, okay. So she asked who pays for travel to get Hona there in order to have these conversations. So currently I have donors. We have a platform set up. So people who do believe in the Hona mission are able to donate. It is a 501c3. And so lots of times it's just private investors and or entities that have funds, like maybe for travel, and then I'm gathering some information for an organization such as TSET or OSU Extension or Langston University. I do work with lots of universities and or school systems in order to make things like that happen. Data is always so very important. And so whenever we're collecting data and finding out what the needs are, how to help an organization help themselves through surveys and other things of that sort, then I'm able to partner with them and then they pay for that to get there.
Kind of a follow-up question for you, Lainey. Are you in a space right now where you're taking on kind of new connections or open to working with new folks and new communities? I know that you are probably very, very busy and saturated as is, but kind of curious about what that would be like.
Yeah, so currently Hona is always accepting new Alliance members. So in order to become an Alliance member, what you do is I have a form that you fill out, I send to your market and or organization. Once you fill out the form and we get like a basic overview of what the needs would include, then we formulate a plan, like whether we meet online, thanks to Zoom and everything. I love the technology that's come over the last year. But we can meet online or in person, just whichever you prefer, and we just schedule a weekend. Thankfully, the team is growing, and so I'm not the only resource these days. So slowly but surely, we're making progress.
Does anybody have anything else that they would like to share? All right, any other questions for our speakers about Beyond Cash? All right, well, it looks like we're going to have an early lunch. I definitely encourage everybody to hang out, talk with each other. It's really rare we get to see each other in person these days, so please strengthen those connections through our in-person presence. And if you have anything that you'd like to share, the Zoom will stay up so we can share that with our virtual attendees. So thank you, everyone.